Hey there, I'm Sal. Thanks for checking out the video. For the last 40,000 miles or so on my truck, I've had these Goodyear Wrangler Authority tires that I got from Walmart, and when I first bought them, I thought that they were a steal. They're a really aggressive looking tire for a really budget price, and I had recommended them. I made a couple videos on the channel, so you can go back and watch those if you want to learn a little bit more about these tires specifically. But after having them on the truck for so long, they've gotten unbearably loud, and I needed to get a new set of tires on this truck. It was just getting really old. So I did a little bit of research and decided to go with these Falken Rubitrek tires, and holy crap, I am so happy that I did. The difference was insane between the two of them. And today I just kind of wanted to talk through my first impressions of the Rubitreks. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we start talking about the Falkens, I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what was going on with the Goodyear Wranglers. Like I mentioned, 40,000 miles, the treads are still so deep. Like, there's very minimal tread wear on these tires, which was very impressive. I recently got an alignment done probably 2,000 or 3,000 miles ago, and the guy who was doing it was like, "Oh, did you get new tires?" No, these are actually like 35,000 miles old, but yeah, so tread depth was not a concern of mine, but man, they were so loud. When I first bought them, they were loud, but I was like, yeah, they're all-terrain tires, my first set of all-terrain, so they must be pretty loud. Kind of just par for the course there, but man, they just kept getting louder and louder, and I do 3-hour trips down to North Carolina pretty often. Even just driving on the highways around here for like 30 minutes is just unbearable. I did a ride the other night. It was like 30 minutes. I had the windows down on the highway, and I came home and my ears were like literally ringing because the tires were so loud. I have to turn the music up in the truck even with the windows up. It's just insane how loud these tires got over time. And then on top of that, mostly due to my own fault here, I didn't rotate them as often as I should have. I rotated them once in the last 40,000 miles. I did it about 10,000 miles in, and that was it. And I noticed that the lugs on the inside of the tire, the two front tires, they were worn very uniquely. It was like, not the whole inside was worn, it was like every 4th or 5th tread is worn. So when I got the new tires mounted on, I asked the dude, like, you know, what's the deal with that? And he said, it's because you didn't rotate the tires enough. So that was super noticeable driving around at low speeds. You could like feel each tread, like, you know, rolling on the pavement, even just in parking lots and stuff. And then at higher speeds, you'll hear it in the clips shortly here, but the sound of them like slapping the pavement for every like extra worn knob here was just terrible. So yeah, definitely rotate your tires. I didn't realize how big of a deal it makes. I'm sure if I rotated them one more time, it might fix itself, or it might be too far gone. I'm really not too sure about that. But yeah, that was a real big bummer to find out that I probably could have you know, pushed that off a little bit further had I rotated the tires, but they were still really loud regardless. So I'm happy that I went with the Falkens. I'm gonna put in some clips here now of these tires when I first got them. I recorded a video down in Florida, and then I recorded another video last week before I got them taken off, and the same recording stuff, just on my phone. So it's apples to apples comparison there, and you'll hear just how much louder they are after 40,000 miles. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the Falkens. So they're the same size tire as the ones that I took off, 265/75 R16s, but one of the first differences between the two is the Goodyears were light truck tires. These are not. So the way you'll be able to distinguish that is when you're looking at the tire sizes, the Goodyears said LT 265/75 R16s, whereas these just say 265/75 R16s. These trucks never came with light truck tires from the factory, so they don't require them. To my understanding, what light truck tires are, they're just a little bit thicker on the sidewalls and just a little bit beefier overall, and it's for higher payload capacities or better towing capacity there. And what I just found was with the light truck tires and not a super heavy truck, not towing a whole lot, they were really, really stiff. So I decided to go with a normal tire, not a light truck tire on this, and almost immediately I could feel the difference in stiffness. Just going over little bumps, these are a lot more forgiving, and yeah, really, really happy that I decided to go not with the light truck tires in this case for the Falkens. The next difference between the Rubitreks and the Wranglers is just looking at the treads. If you look at the side-by-side comparison here, the treads on the Wranglers are super big and blocky and pretty far apart. That's great for off-roading and probably mud bogging and stuff like that that I don't do. Whereas if you look at the Rubitreks, the treads are a lot smaller and they're a lot closer together, which just makes for a quieter on-road drive and just a little bit smoother overall. Like I mentioned, I could feel like each individual tread rolling over the ground in parking lots and everything, whereas with this, it just feels like a normal tire, which is great. Also, I'm not a spokesman for Falken or sponsored or anything like that, but looking at the center rib that goes kind of the long way around the tire, not across it, I bet you that helps with smoothness over like highways, and also probably helps quiet it down a little bit just because you know, it's going with the rotation of the tire as opposed to against it. So I don't know, just speculation, but from my experience on the road so far, they are significantly quieter and smoother than the Goodyears that I took off. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, Sal, if you were being a baby about how loud the all-terrains were, why'd you go off and buy another set of all-terrains? And valid point, but for me, it was kind of two things. First of all, I was like, there's no way that all all-terrain tires are as loud as those Goodyears that I had on here. It's not possible. No one would be buying them, and you see them all on Jeeps and trucks and all that sort of stuff. So I'm like, there's got to be a better option out there. So I was kind of chasing that. You know, I wanted to find the best, or at least a better all-terrain tire to put on the truck. And then second of all, it's just kind of an aesthetic thing for me, especially on my truck, the way I'm trying to get it set up here. I just think it looks better with the all-terrain tires. I've got these beadlock style wheels, bead look wheels, that I think just kind of need the all-terrain tire to look proper. So yeah, that together was just kind of what drove me back towards finding a better all-terrain tire. And how I came across these was actually from 208 Tyler. He's another first-gen Tundra YouTube guy like me on here, and he has them on his truck. He has a narrower set on his truck. I think he has 225s or maybe 235s. I don't really remember, but he went for the pizza cutters, like the tall and skinny ones, where I just kind of stayed with like the stock sort of look. But he had really good things to say about the Rubitreks. And then when I looked into them a little bit, they were within my budget, so I decided to give them a shot, and I'm super happy that I did. It's funny because, so I weighed the Wranglers with the wheels on them and everything, the whole package, before I had them dismounted. And I thought that those were gonna weigh like 10 pounds more than these. And I weighed these, I'm an idiot, I forgot to record it, but they're only 1 pound lighter than that package before I took them off the truck, which I was surprised by. I thought these were gonna be a lot lighter because they're not light truck tires, and you know, they're not as knobby and stuff, but yeah, I guess they're still kind of heavy. They do feel lighter on the truck, and I think it's because they roll a lot better. I've noticed, like, you know, coasting to a stop, the truck coasts a lot better now. Maybe it's just in my head because I don't feel the vibrations of all the knobs rubbing on the ground, but to the seat of my pants, they feel like they coast a lot better, and I bet you I'm going to get a whole lot better gas mileage with these tires on the truck. So yeah, only time will tell, but after the first impressions, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah, pretty incredible difference there. I could feel it almost immediately. I never believe people on YouTube when they're like, oh, I put the new suspension on and I could feel the difference before I even left the parking lot. But let me tell you, I could feel the difference before I even left the parking lot. It was insane. I literally put it into reverse to back up and I was like, holy crap, so much better. And then, you know, I pulled out into the street. By the time I got home, the money I spent on this was 110% worth it, and yeah, I have no regrets. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video though. If you have any questions about where I got these tires, you know, how they're holding up, just ask them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and have a great rest of your day.